The Grand Army of the Republic has gathered in force. Thousands of 77th Battalion troopers along with ARC Trooper captains and a division of tanks deploying onto Andderon. Ki-Adi-Mundi is the Jedi Master assigned to this assault, and their task is a daunting one. Thousands of droids defending multiple choke points within the city's center. From the exterior defense to the free-roaming interior defense assault of the 2nd Droid Battalion to the final stand of the bridge crossing. Can the clone army free Andderon from this droid occupation, or will they die trying? If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below if you'd like to see some more in the future. Either way, let's get right on into this thing. Alright boys, let's get into this full-scale Clone Wars invasion of Andderon defenses. Again, there are thousands of clone troopers and battle droids on this battlefield, and tons of tanks, artillery, etc. So, it will be a little bit laggy for the start. However, as more troopers end up dying on the battlefield, things should improve and get better. So we are starting things off in slow motion here, so that way we get a little bit more in the FPS center of things. We've got an AAT in the back left there, exploding, one front and center, getting hit hard by a Falchion blast right there. We've also got tons of rockets going out from the 77th Clone Trooper Legion against some of the droid defenders. There are quite a number of AATs on the exterior over here ready to defend, although I will say that they're getting beat to heck right now. I don't think they're going to be around for much longer. We've also got some shots coming out from the droid army into the clone offensive here, although many of the 2nd Legion of droids is already going down, their turrets getting decrewed, their AATs suffering a very similar fate, and most of their troopers behind the walls and trenches getting completely suppressed by outgoing clone trooper fire. This is no bueno, to say the very least. Look at these rockets coming in, just spamming out against the droid army here. Trees getting felled in the process. Whatever community planner built this place is probably seething right now as all of his beautiful architecture is destroyed. Got an ATTE going down in the distance. Now, there are 2 ATTEs on the battlefield, but still, it takes a lot to kill those, so seeing one of them even die is pretty tragic. We got grenades getting tossed as well from the droids at some of the clone troopers who've gotten awfully close to their positions here. That is actually kind of surprising how quickly they have pushed on forward. One of the Falchion tanks off in the distance also dying there, but the other one is danger close to the droids. Now, further back for the droid army, we do have one of these J1, I think it's called like a torpedo cannon or something like that, and a Hailfire droid. Anyone else when they were a kid think they were called Hellfire droids and then later learned that they're Hailfire droids? I don't know. I feel like that's a weird Mandela effect type thing. Either way, we've also got the free-roaming droids coming out from the back lines, and there's some free-roaming AATs, though many of them getting stuck on various obstacles because AI pathfinding in this is not the greatest. The exterior defenses for the droids seems to be almost completely donezo now. They did a pretty decent job, to be honest with you. I mean, they killed a Falchion, they killed an ATTE, and a decent number of clone trooper infantry out here as well. So, all in all, a decent job for the start of this battle. Although, these AATs... oh, they're just decrewed. Okay, I see. They're actually dead, either hull destroyed or decrewed, so no one is left alive to command those puppies right there. It also seems like the J1, yes, got defeated right there. The Hailfire droid, I haven't really seen it shoot its silo, so it might still be capable of spamming rockets at the clones as they come through. Maybe it's because the J1 is blocking its path, is why it hasn't fired its silo? I'm not entirely sure, but the clones are coming into the city now. So we're actually using the Galactic Frontiers mod alongside the Star Wars Galaxy at War mod today. So that is how we are getting the 77th Clone Trooper Legion out here, as well as the 2nd Droid Legion, which is kind of fun to get these different troopers on the battlefield that we normally don't really see. All right, the Hellfire Droid is firing its regular blaster cannons. Let's take it off of hold move mode so it can just kind of move about freely as it chooses. Now, the big thing about this battlefield is that these city gates are definitely wide enough for the ATTEs to walk straight through. So tanks are going to continue to be a problem throughout the entirety of this battlefield. Although right now that ATTE is still way off in the back there. And there we go, the Hailfire Droid spamming out its missile silo against the clone trooper army there. And hitting the J1 a number of times, but also hitting in the way back over here, nuking the clone trooper army, as well as the ATTEs in the back, and it might actually flip that ATTE right there. Oh, huge losses for the clone troopers as they literally get nuked by that Hailfire Droid. My goodness. Luckily, there's still hundreds and hundreds of clone troopers still alive on the battlefield. Over to the right side, beyond the buildings over here. Still a bunch over this way, too. And I'm sure still a ton of rocket troopers who can kill that Hailfire Droid. In fact, the Hailfire Droid already exploded. I think it might have killed itself by firing all of those rockets straight into the back of the J1 there and basically scorching its own body in the process. The second Droid Legion back this way is taking up defenses over here. They're taking a few losses, but nothing too crazy. The clones do have to come through this fairly narrow city gate to actually reach the other side, so these guys are in somewhat of a choke point area. There is still a Falchion left alive over here, but the other ATTE got completely turtled and flipped on over there, so it is now out of the battlefield as well. That is absolutely nuts. We do have some covering fire from clones way back here, supporting some of the troopers that are a little bit farther forward in the gateway area. It's really just a matter of the clones slowly but surely picking off these droids. Now, these free-roaming droids will have their AAT supporting them, but right now they're doing absolutely nothing, so I don't think that'll be too big of a problem for the clones for the time being. I think it's really just going to be the droid infantry picking off clones bit by bit as they go here. And since it's in slow-mo and going into normal speed will definitely generate some serious lag, why don't we do a slight time-lapse for a little bit here while these clones and droids are basically just spamming fire at each other and not really making much progress in terms of the battle. Either way, if you guys do enjoy these videos, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. I really do appreciate it, and it helps me out a ton in the algorithm, getting this video seen by more people. Either way, guys, let's get into this. Real quick, huge thank you to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. They have literally the best deals in gaming. I use it all the time. If you like Star Wars games, Lego Star Wars for $2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 for $9. One of my favorite Star Wars games, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, $1.70. If you want to play the Star Wars Galaxy at War mod, Men of War Assault Squad 2, $3. Extremely popular games can be up to 99% off. Link in the description below. Thank you to Instant Gaming for sponsoring the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into the video. Okay, 5 minutes have gone by, and the Clone Trooper army is making some progress here, but they're just getting beat up in this little choke point area. We got grenades going off this way. That might manage to kill one or two of those droids, but they might just get away. I'm not entirely sure. Droids are just kind of around these corners, blasting away at the clones whenever they step into their line of sight over there. Yeah, it's gonna get no kills. RIP. And then these guys over here are retreating back somewhat, and normally when free roaming troopers in this mod, or just in Men of War or Gates of Hell in general, end up retreating, that usually means that they feel as though they're losing this portion of the battle, so that can be a sign that the clones might be gaining some sort of semblance of power on the battlefield. However, sometimes that doesn't end up being the case, so it's hard to tell. But at the very least, we are seeing dead droids out here, so that doesn't mean the clone troopers aren't doing anything, and we're also seeing them taking bigger and bigger steps outwards towards the droid army, so that is also a pretty major step in this battlefield. There's still hundreds, if not thousands, of clones left alive. A lot of them going all the way around this area, which is not super helpful. And of course, there is a metric ton of droids still alive. Oh look, they all retreated from this position here. Yeah, they went around the corner there. So that might be an opening for the clones to kind of burst on through and start taking on more droids on the interior area over here. It's still fairly laggy, so let's do another time lapse before we go into normal speed. We can watch right here. Alright boys, 3 minutes later and the clones have broken through for the most part of the choke point, which I wasn't sure was going to happen a few minutes ago, but seems to be a very, very quick and easy process once they started to drive the droids back and make them retreat. Now, there are still some avenues the clones need to go through to take on the rest of these free-roaming droids to prevent them from getting back to the bridge defense over here, which would be a problem. If they do get back to the bridge defense over this way, then they're just going to boost the droids' back defense lines and make them even more powerful. So they need to watch out for that. There's also still a number of AATs back here, which, while derpy, can still take out a lot of clone troopers. Look, this one's firing right now, which is ridiculous because it's upside down practically. I don't understand, but clones are hitting it with some rockets, so that will go down eventually. Let's bump it up to 2 speed now because we have enough clone trooper and droid deaths on the battlefield to get a whopping 16 frames per second, which is not too bad, I suppose. And we'll go into full-scale normal speed once even more clones and droids end up dying. I do really like the look of the green ARC troopers alongside the blue clone troopers. I think that's just fire. I really like that. Okay, some of the AATs actually making some moves. They're done derping around. They're ready to get into the action here. Look at this. That main cannon could get tons of kills, but it hits a wall and flips over. Oh, this one's back up and running though. Look at that. These brave droid tanks figuring out how to drive. Amazing. Incredible. Look at this. If it takes a shot right there, it'd be huge. Nope, it shoots its own tank brother. This is why droids aren't allowed to have nice things. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. That one fell down again too. We do have some explosions going off over here, which do take out a couple of clone troopers, so those things aren't good for nothing. They're good for a kill or two, but they could be so much more effective. Look, this one's back up and running again too. It is spamming out machine gun fire, taking cannon shots in the most ineffective area possible, which is crazy, and it is getting shot at by more bazookas, though that one did miss. So even the clone troopers aren't exactly being the powerhouse that they should be. That's more what the droids are looking for. Huge shots straight into the clone trooper lines. Around this way, more clones have died. The droids have retreated farther back, but they're still in the game, so that's not great for the clones. The right side, looks like these clones are going to be able to push through here easily, and I don't even know if there are any droids left alive on the right side, so they could easily run a flank over here and take out these droids over this way. Those droid tanks are far from invulnerable. It just seems like the clones are doing a horrible job taking them out right now. There we go. Finally, one of them goes down, not even due to a rocket shot, but due to DC-15S fire. That is absurd. What are we doing here, B? This AAT over here is hugging a wall. So are these ones. So still the AATs are not being very effective, and they're shooting the ground quite a bit. I am not impressed with these droids right now, I have to say. In terms of clones, if we look at the top left, blue are clone troopers still alive. Red are droids still alive. So there's a pocket of droids over here. Apparently there are like 2 droids somewhere in these buildings over here. And then the rest of the free-roaming droids are all crammed back here alongside their AATs. AATs are going to be the toughest thing for the clones to take out, and the clones do have quite the force in the city now, but they've also got a ton of troopers on the exterior of the city just kind of milling about. Eventually they will find their way forward, but right now they're just kind of derping. I'll anti-derp a few of them, since I did anti-derp the Hailfire droid, but I'm not going to anti-derp all of them right now, because I think that would just be too much lag, honestly. So we'll anti-derp about 4 squads right there, and see if that helps the clones sort of gear the rest of their soldiers towards the front, which is where they need to be going. Meanwhile, these clones over here are getting shot up, but they're also getting some good fire against the droids that are hugging this palm tree right here. And the AAT next to them also blasting away a little bit as well. Good kills for the clones. I think the clones can make it through this part of the battle here. It's just going to take some time because of these AATs and the general derpiness of what's going on. So why don't we time-lapse a little bit more here, and then eventually we'll be able to go into normal speed completely. Alright guys, 15 minutes have passed. The clones just are not really advancing at all right now, so let's just go ahead and have them anti-derp rule. It's a rule we use on this channel to prevent the game from just not progressing at all. The Falchion is within range to move in, but currently it's just hanging out at the doorway there, which is stupid. Let's get these guys go. They might be stuck actually in the buildings or something. So just bring them out. Yeah, baby. Bring them out. Come on, boys. Let's go. Come on. All right, there we go. Maybe that will be the mobilization we need to be seeing on this battlefield for things to progress. There's still a ton like stuck in these walls, boys. No, don't go that way. Why do you always want to go back? Don't go back into the walls. You're not mice. Go into the battlefield, my guys. Oh my goodness. Those AATs are still alive. There are lots of clones kind of around them that could kill them currently, but they're just not, and they're not getting the stupid reinforcements because these guys keep trying to go back into the walls. It's not even reinforcements. These are just the troopers who were supposed to be partaking in the battle the entire freaking time. The Falchion's being an idiot too, so that doesn't really help. These clones are just chilling over here now. I think they killed the droids over there though. I think we could go into normal speed. I think that is permissible at this point. The clones might move forward here. I don't, dude. They're just derping so hard. It's not good. It's not good at all. All right, here we go. They're kind of moving. They're kind of moving and grooving. A little bit. Oh, what? Please. Oh my god, they're just dying. They're just getting clapped, dude. Like, come on. You guys have rockets, right? There's no rocket troopers over here. There's one! Get up there, son. Use your goddamn rocket. Look at all the dead clones over here. There's a rocket trooper right there. Just move in. Assist your fellow clone, my guy. This is just frustrating to watch them not do anything against these AATs. Let's just let it play. Alright guys, it's been another 12 minutes. I think the main problem is that the clones don't have enough bazooka troopers or something. They're just not making any progress. We're gonna go in fast speed here, and I'll leave the clone icons up so you guys can see where they're at, but this might be the end of this battle. However, I think we're gonna have to run it back, get the clones some reinforcements, give them another try, because this was kind of a silly place for the clones to just fall apart, in my opinion. This was silly. These AATs are so bad, they're so easy to kill with bazooka troopers, but the clone troopers are just not doing it, so we'll have to run it back maybe and change some things to see what happens. But let's keep it going for now. 20 minutes later, and the clones have pretty much completely petered out. They don't have the troops anymore to do this, so let's revamp. So what we're going to go ahead and do is simply remove the AATs to see what kind of impact that has on the battlefield. Everything else will stay the same, just to see if the clones can get the W. However, all in all, the droids do get the W officially for this video because they stopped the clones stone cold at the end of the last battle. So the beginning here should be relatively similar to the last one we saw. I mean, there's always the opportunity for the droids to do better, for the clones to do better as we, redo this battle. However, I mean, each side has everything exactly the same, except for the fact that the droids have the, well, they don't have the AATs in the back there. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Either way, we've seen the first part of this battle. Let's roll it. The clones cleave through the first wave relatively easy yet again. I did notice some missiles from the big boy in the back there firing away. One hit over here, but nothing past that. The J1 is completely dead. This thing is still standing, though. We're going to leave it this time and just let this play out. But the clone troopers have taken substantial losses. They've lost one ATTE. The other one is still alive, and one Falchion tank is still alive. So pretty much the exact same thing happened as last time, I suppose. Okay, about 6 minutes later, and the clones are fully diving into the assault here. The Hellfire droid's just kind of chilling. It's still really, really laggy on the battlefield. I don't know if it's dead or just not doing anything. It might just be dead, honestly, because it is just sitting there, and the clones aren't really shooting it right now. Still plenty of droids back this way. All those free-roaming droids are currently still alive. Oh, the clones are shooting it a little bit now, I guess. Either way, we're just going to let them get through the city because this is what we're really interested in for the rest of the battle, is if the clones can cross over the bridge, since we've already pretty much seen this fight and known the clones fail if there are AATs. Okay, about 7 minutes later, Ki-Adi-Mundi and his clones have almost made it to the back here. There's just a few droids chilling. We're almost at the bridge defense, just not quite. So let's watch from the bridge defense as the clones come forward here. I think we can go into normal speed. It's kind of laggy, but we'll be time-lapsing anyway. Okay, finally, we're seeing the bridge defense. It's been a long journey, boys, but we're finally seeing it. Right now, it seems like mainly just longer range rifles combating each other right now. Luckily, this isn't too much of a choke point since the clones can kind of spread out across this courtyard here and fire pretty decently far, especially those DC-15X soldiers. They will definitely be lethal on this part of the battlefield. We have a nice little hole here that clones can crawl on into if they want some cover. Now, the droids do have a number of snipers on this bridge who I think are going to rack up some serious kills. Not only that, a few bazooka troopers who are firing away, and they're going to be able to use those bazookas almost as if they're mortars against the clone troopers. So while there aren't too many droids on this immediate bridge defense, they're going to be able to get a lot of kills, and they already are. We're already seeing a huge number of dead clones all around here. What's lucky for the clones is there is cover for them to utilize, but still, it's going to be a challenge. Look at that, yes! That's what I'm talking about, boys. Huge firepower from these droids, despite not being very vast in number. And then, of course, you go further back, there's more droids, and then more droids, and more droids behind every corner here, ready to intercept more and more clone troopers. So, the clones, if we look at the top left, red are clones left alive, blue are droids left alive. They actually haven't even finished off all the droids. There's a bunch back here still alive who could wander into the clones and flank and attack that way. There's still a metric ton of clones back here. ATTE is completely trapped over this way, and the Falchion tank also trapped due to the J1 acting as rubble wreckage, preventing them from kind of moving around and stuff like that. So that is a bonus for the droids, that those vehicles are likely going to remain stuck for the rest of this battle. So they'll likely only have to deal with infantry from here on out, and currently that infantry is getting absolutely booty clapped by these droids. So let's watch, because this could last a while. Wowza. The droids are just kind of holding. Maybe this Andderon defense a little too powerful, perchance. Perchance, we goofed up and made this just a little too much for him. Kiadi Mundi's dead over here, just vibing, force standing in his dead body. Incredible. I guess let's watch from the clones' perspective, but I think the clones just aren't going to win this period. Okay, we actually did have some interesting developments. Turns out this bridge can be broken. That's problematic. The Falchion came through and destroyed the bridge. That's not the good. What we could do is maybe something like this would work. I was not expecting the bridge to freaking break like that. Alright, can you guys cross the bridge? I need a test droid. Who's the least effective droid? This guy's only got a kill. No, they cannot make it across. Oh, can they just... They could just walk under. So the clones can still get across. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Well, that's kind of funny right there. Alright, there's still some clones. The Falchion tank helped out a lot. Maybe the ATTE will break through next and start giving it a go. I think these clones are stuck, though, just again. So I'll push them into the courtyard areas over here. And these guys are like wandering backwards. I don't know why, but yeah, kind of get them revamped up in there. And let's watch the bridge, I guess, again, because things are happening, baby. They're happening out here. Alright boys, it's been another 30 minutes. The clones, no progress made. Machine gun here, 24 kills. Rifleman here, 10. This guy, 8. 10 here, 7 here, 8 here, none. 53 from this sniper. This guy's got none. 38, none, 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 1, 4, 2, none, 1, none. So yeah, the droids take a massive W, 2 battles in a row, so clearly this city defense was just a bit too much for the clones. Either way guys, that's going to be about it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.